Quite possibly one of my favourite quirky place names in a country that's renowned for having quirky place names, we're here in Papplewick, located in Nottinghamshire. Now, Nottingham gets its name from an Anglo-Saxon tribe who had a chieftain called Snot. His people were known as Snotingers, which derived from the word Snotengus, meaning caves. It was known as Snotingham, meaning the homestead of the people of Snot, until it became known as Nottingham in the 1100s. Papplewick was a Saxon settlement, and it is thought to mean dairy farm in the pebbly place. Moor Pond Woods was once a series of 18th century leats which were reservoirs and channels built by the Robinson family to serve their cotton factories in the Leen Valley. Moor Pond, which is how the woods get their name after industry had left the area, was fed by the River Leen along with two other ponds. These in turn fed the water wheels at Castle Mill and Grange Mill. The area is now a designated local wildlife site. Water-powered cotton mills existed on the River Leen since at least the 1200s. The word lean comes from various variations of the Celtic word lee, meaning to flow. By 1615, iron refining was taking place at Bulwell Forge, which was actually then later Forge Mill. Iron was being forged at this site until 1708. Although there were many industries in the area, it is almost inarguable that cotton was the most famous in and around Papplewick. In 1742, George Robinson moved into the area from Scotland, and he and David Melvin made their money bleaching cotton in Bulwell. Fast forward to 1774 and Frederick Montagu took a bill to Parliament to reduce the amount of payable duties on cotton goods. Fast forward again to 1778 and Montagu granted leases to the Robinson families to build cotton factories along the Leen. They converted corn mills or built their own original cotton mills along the Leen, including Castle Mill in 1782, Lower Mill in 1784, Forge Mill in 1785, Grange Farm in 1790 and Forest Mill at Bulwell in 1795. They were staffed by boys from the Marylebone workstation but apparently were treated very well. The works were sold to the partnership of Hopper and Glover in 1821 but, owing to irreparable differences between the partners, cotton spinning ceased in 1828. All but Forge Mill, Castle Mill and Forest Mill were dismantled and some of the materials used to build farmhouses. Castle Mill began converting corn in 1851 but became residential property after 1952. Forge Mill was used to grind bones between 1820 and 1920. One of the oldest buildings in all of Papplewick is St James's Church. It is believed to date back to the 1100s. The tower was built in the 1300s and the nave and chancel were introduced by Frederick Montagu in 1795. Now, there's a local myth that Alan a Dale, one of Robin Hood's merry men, actually got married here, and if you're not familiar with the name, he's the singing rooster who narrates the Disney version. Probably my favourite character. Probably yours too. Wow, what a beautiful place. I love visiting churches. They always have such a welcoming atmosphere and also are so not only pretty but also have a lot of actually what you might call surprising history. For example, one of the most famous parts of this church is this east window behind me. Now, this window is actually quite state of the art, if you'll pardon the pun, as it is actually painted and not stained. And it was introduced in 1796 and was based off designs from one in a chapel in Oxford. There's also some stained glass from Newstead Abbey. Finally, in the churchyard, there's also a 350-year-old yew tree. So, you'll definitely have to try and pay this a visit when you're here, and it goes to show that there's actually history wherever you turn. Another historic site is the pumping station, the only one in the Midlands preserved as a full pumping station in full working order. In 1879, a reservoir was built to provide water for the increasing population of Nottingham. The Nottingham Corporation Water Department thus built the pumping station between 1881 and 1884 to a design by Marriott Ogle Tarbottom. Finally, there's also Papplewick Hall, which was built for Frederick Montagu between 1781 and 1786. Now, Papplewick is more than just a wonderful place name, and it's especially more than just its industrial or aristocratic heritage, as important as they are to the story of this village. Papplewick is also a thriving community today, a very welcoming and lovely one at that, may I say. Papplewick is full of history and it's full of nature, and it's a place that I think will definitely stick with you once you visit.